Are you experiencing back pain that you can't get rid of? Getting migraines, vertigo, having trouble sleeping, and/or brain fog? Do you feel like your medical doctor doesn't understand your condition? Blair Chiropractic might be the solution you've been looking for. If you've ever been skeptical about this, the two doctors you're about to listen to were even more skeptical than you were when they looked into chiropractic work. But fear not. Get expert guidance from the blonde and the bald, Doctors Beth Bagley and Frederick Schurger. These two doctors have extensive experience beyond the healthcare realm and bringing unique vision and healing to their patients. What do you have when you get a biological analyst and an engineer together? Find out right here on another episode of The Blonde and the Bald. Welcome your hosts, Doctors Bagley and Schurger.
Good evening, Dr. Bagley. How are you?
I am well. How are you doing, Dr. Schurger?
I am doing excellent. I have had a pretty good week. A little slower.
I heard you ate 300 grams of protein yesterday.
I did.
I ate 400 grams of protein, so I'm better.
Absolutely.
And maybe it was closer to like 40.
That's the problem.
I think it might have been yesterday. It was not a good protein day for me, but I'm glad it was a good protein day for you.
Yes. And when I stepped on the scale yesterday to today, it was only 1 pound up. So I am not unhappy. I'm not unhappy with that change.
And honestly, the increase of protein kind of leads us into what we're going to talk about today,
really
which
does.
Is something called biohacking.
And Dr. Bagley, the question, and this is going to be the title of the episode because that's what people will already have seen, but the question is, what is the best biohack and why is it chiropractic?
That is 100% a great question.
It is.
And the right answer.
Well, and here's the thing is I sat down and I've had a couple people talking about this. What's this big deal that people don't think chiropractic is biohacking? Chiropractic was probably
the first
biohack.
Absolutely.
That was properly introduced.
Yeah, BJ Palmer was the original biohacker. And honestly, he really was.
Yeah.
Is BJ Palmer was such an innovator in our profession, but in awesome things, in more than just
in chiropractic, in radio, in printing. He was printing X-ray. The list goes on and on. And that's just, one example of somebody who has went through and just because of what he was doing for his health, was able to, take that to a new level for so many people. Again, it's been like this weird, back and forth. People are like, isn't chiropractic biohacking? And it ultimately is. Because I sat down and I love the Brave browser. For those of you who haven't been paying attention, the Brave browser is probably one of the cleaner browsers out there. None of the browsers are great for really hiding all your information and making sure you don't get messed up. But I asked it, I did a search. What are the best reasons to biohack? And the AI generated this list of 8 items that I would generally agree with are the benefits of AI, of biohacking. So I'm going to hit down the list and then we're going to go back and hit each one of these individually. So
okay, I have an aside that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I'm the color commentary for the night. So Brave browser.
Yes.
My mom just bought a new computer and she, who is not great at computers, said, I want to put the Brave browser on. And I was like, whoa, okay, my mom knows some stuff.
Nice.
So new computer, Windows. I downloaded it from I was helping her do it. I downloaded it from the brave.com and tried to install it. And Windows, we know we love Windows and the Bill Gates because he is the ultimate biohacker or biokiller, whatever. It's fine. I know it's not him, but the company has made it really hard to install applications that are not Windows approved.
Really?
Yeah. And I looked up 3 different ways to change the settings and I had to go back to work at that point, but I still couldn't figure out. It was like, I was working on it for 20 minutes and still could not install. I could download the app, but couldn't install it onto her computer.
That's funny because this is a 20-year problem that I thought was done. But this is a almost 25-year-old problem because Bill Gates with his Internet Explorer killed the what was it?
Netscape,
that's it.
Yep.
The Netscape browser, which was a superior browser to the Internet Explorer, but he made it almost near impossible. So they are revisiting that. Wonderful.
Oh, it definitely was. It made me really mad. And I was like, there is going to be a way that I can do it. But for someone her age who's not computer savvy,
right,
like this is going to be another probably half an hour of me trying to find the setting, because everywhere that the internet says it is, they've moved it.
Yes.
So
that's interesting. And that's good to know. And everyone else, just remember the best use of Internet Explorer is to download any other browser.
100%. It's not even internet. It's called Microsoft Edge now.
Well, that's what it is now.
Super edgy.
Yes, and all the problems with Microsoft.
Okay, so back to
biohacking. So there's 8. We've got 8 bullet points we're going to go through tonight and explain why each one of these, and some of these cross over. So it's probably only 6 items in reality. But
okay, I'm going to read just the disclaimer here.
Yes.
First of all, just because we're talking about it doesn't mean you should do it. Talk to your doctor about this.
Exactly.
But go ahead.
And remember, if AI generates you an answer, go check it.
Yeah, because it could be right. It could be right, really wrong.
And it could be completely fabricated.
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing it says is biohacking is a practice that involves using various techniques and methods to optimize one's physical and mental well-being. Some of the best reasons to biohack include, and here we start with our list.
And improving health is number 1.
Yeah.
Enhancing,
which is kind of like number 1. Honestly, like, duh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you're going to biohack to not like, yes, that's the point of it.
So number 2 is enhancing cognitive function. Number 3 is increasing energy and vitality. Number 4 is reducing stress and anxiety.
Okay.
Number 5 is extending lifespan.
That's a big one. A lot of people talk about that.
Yeah, and that's becoming more and more popular for various reasons.
Well, 6. Wait, I'm just going to download my consciousness into the internet and live forever.
Yeah, that's another thing. Number 6 is optimizing physical performance. 7 is improving mental clarity and focus. And the final one is enhancing creativity and innovation. And, I can see how enhancing creativity and innovation will actually sort of fall under cognitive function. And again, that mental clarity and focus also falls under cognitive function. So you can see where these sort of overlap. But, improving health right off the bat, we do this day in, day out, just in chiropractic in general. This doesn't necessarily directly impact those of us who do like something like flare up or cervical, but, just eliminating aches and pains is improving one's health, because as you have more pain, you actually have a problem where nerves that fire together wire together, and those pain receptors are overwhelming your nervous system. So that's a major problem.
And so improving health, like a win from the week. So wasn't even my patient, is Dr. Thomas's patient, but I got to see her today, and she's literally on her 2nd or 3rd visit, and she goes, I am just feeling so much better. And I was like, that's great. She was just so excited and so bubbly about it. And she goes, I've also noticed by this time of night, my tinnitus would be terrible. Sure. And I don't have it at all right now. And I said, that is super exciting. And I said out loud to her that tinnitus, there's different types of tinnitus, and some respond well to this type of care and some that don't. And I said, I'm super excited that yours seems to be responding. And if you imagine, I can't imagine because I have some form of tinnitus, probably from injury, but having that high pitched squealing when it's that loud, and that's a biohack right there. Is like, how do I get rid of tinnitus? Well, one of them is chiropractic. So I love that. Do you have any wins that you had this week?
I do, but I'm going to come to bring it in at a different point here on the list.
I guess I'll allow it.
Other things that improve your health is improving your immune function. And I'm reading out of looking at neuroimmune function. They found that 18 found a significant effect on immune markers out of 21. So 86% of the pieces and parts to the studies that they looked at found a significant effect to your immune function when you're under chiropractic care. And again, not necessarily talking what we do directly, because what we do directly showed a direct impact on our secretory IgA at a significant improvement and increase in that immediate time right after an adjustment within 30 minutes.
Let's break that down for someone who doesn't know what any of that is. IgA is an immunoglobulin, which is just like a clump of proteins that will, and is that I'm trying to remember. the IgA, what's that responsible for?
Secretory IgA is your frontline defense for your immune system.
So it's going to find bad guys.
Right. So we have two immune systems technically running in our body. It's more than that, and there's some back and forth playing with. We have the innate immune system, which is all our mucous membrane, our gut, everything that is, someone sneezes in your face, your secretory, your innate immune system is what's going to fight off those bugs if they are toxic, if they are a problem.
So that's the first line of defense. And secretory, meaning you're secreting it. And how you guys tested it was with saliva, correct?
Yes, we did. And secretory IgA is the most abundant immunoglobulin in the body. So this is significant, and it's really impactful because it tells us, whereas this study here was looking at other immune markers, I don't believe they looked at secretory IgA. They published this study probably about the same time we did, but secretory IgA increases, it has sort of a spike right off the bat. So it sort of goes up as soon as you get exposed to something that is toxic or noxious to your body. And then within a couple of days, it drops back down. And then what's the other immune system?
Innate, and there's the word.
It's the one that learns. I mean, this is horrible. I feel bad that I can't remember this. But the other immune system is the one that learns. Adaptive. Thank you.
I had to Google it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Sometimes every word doesn't sit in our brains, especially after a long day of work. But the adaptive immune system learns from what the innate immune system is finding. They talk back and forth. And from this, we are able to develop long-term immunity to things. This is why when there was this back and forth about, we unlike every disease we've ever come into in mankind, COVID does not show having it once does not show having immunity to it in the future. And there were some lesser degrees, but that's a coronavirus problem. That is less a COVID problem because coronaviruses are changing rapidly. And
which is why it's pretty much impossible to have a vaccine for coronavirus.
That is a problem. But in any case, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about improving health. So when you get adjusted and right off the bat, your secretory IgA and your innate immune system is increasing its function to levels to deal with whatever's going on in your body. So if you have an infection, if you have a cut, a bruise, anything where the body would be normally coming in to work on, it's going to do an improvement to that, and it's going to fight off the baddies and then communicate to that adaptive immune system.
And this was a study done with upper cervical chiropractors, correct?
Yes, the secretory IgA was done solely with upper cervical chiropractors. I was one of those doctors. So I can definitively say that when I adjust someone, odds are very good that their secretory IgA increases because all 10 of my patients showed an increase.
And just the aside is we also hear that from our patients is that like teachers, they start coming in and they don't get sick the whole year versus they were getting sick left and right. So your body, that when that kid coughs in their face, that IgA is working to be the front line of defense so that they no longer have the baddies in them as much and they can fight it off faster or completely. So that's amazing. I love it. Yeah. So that's reason number one, chiropractic is the ultimate biohack.
Yeah.
It's increasing health with immune system function too.
Yes, but wait, there's more. I know. So the next point was enhancing cognitive function. Yeah. And again, for all of these points, we could probably go on and on and on. And I will drone on and on and on. And
that's what I'm trying to stop you. I'm going to try to stop.
Yes, exactly. But the second one is enhancing cognitive function and, improving their ability to function and do other things. The one study that I came across, and then I'll tell you about the sort of win that I've had this week. Where is it? Here it is. The one study that I just pulled up because I remembered it was improving in signs and symptoms of ADHD and functional outcomes in 4 children receiving torque release chiropractic. And, these kids, and it wasn't a lot of kids, we had a handful of children in this group, but they were able to, their symptoms improved by an average of 17%, for functional status improved on average by 23%, general well-being improved on average by 21%. So that's, and we see ADHD kids all the time that all of a sudden, they were having problems in school and all of a sudden their grades go up. I had a young man.
It is unbelievable. it's so cool to see that. And we see that too. One thing I tell parents is pain. Adults tend to feel pain when they misalign. Not everybody will feel pain, but we tend to. Kids exhibit more, they don't, some of them will have pain. I'm not saying they don't, but a lot of them will exhibit behavior changes rather than pain. And that could be anything from concentration issues to like insomnia. We see that a ton where kids sleep better, concentrate better, and they also less outbursts, like anger issues. We can see a ton of stuff like that. It's amazing.
Yeah, no.
And what were you going to say?
And it absolutely is. And I had one young man, his grandfather brought him in because he was doing so poorly in school, but yet you talking with the kid, you knew he was smart. Both him and his brother, who had really bad asthma, just sharp as tack. But the older one was just having a hard time in school, and his cervical curve was the wrong direction.
That's not good.
No, it
should be a banana shape. And if it's not a banana shape, it's the wrong direction.
And he was one of my first patients to actually have that curve turn around almost immediately, which was really exciting. And then he started doing better in school. So it happens very fast. And talking about wins, I've got a concussion case. She's been on disability for a year now, maybe a year and a half. We've met Kelly. We've talked to Kelly in the past. But she's had trouble and just being functionally present when she's sharing her story or just trying to make it into the office. So she was having a rough week. She's been doing better, and I'm hoping we broke through on something with both upper cervical work and the NRT that the nasal release work that I'm doing now. She was so much more clear and just responsive. Like she understood, like the room was actually physically brighter to her because she could perceive things better. So it was really excited to see that change in her after working on her this week. I'm hoping that continues on. In fact, I had another case. Also, she was the one who sort of prompted how we worked on Kelly this past week, but she was also having some trouble, and I think we unlocked some stuff for her. I'm hoping that's going to help her hold her adjustment better as well. So, any case, that's enhancing cognitive function. You got
one more thing for me on for my own personal cognitive function. When I am in need of a chiropractic adjustment, I know it before pain comes on because of my cognitive function decline. And it's not that I can't, talk to people, but it'll take me longer to come up with words. A lot, everyone forgets a word here or there, like we forgot adaptive, but it's different than that. It's easy words.
Right.
And my brain goes past the word, and then I have to run around and find it again. And when I read, I will read a paragraph and forgot what I read.
Yes.
And then I'll have to read it again.
Yes.
And I remember as a kid, that's what I had to do a lot. And I was a smart kid. I got all A's and all that stuff, but it took me forever to read.
Yes.
And when I would learn more just by people talking to me and writing down notes, but reading, and to this day, I don't learn by reading very well without taking notes with it. But I can definitely, if I'm holding an adjustment, I can read a paragraph and understand it immediately.
Yes.
Unless it's something you wrote.
That's fair. That's fair, because sometimes I have to reread what I write just to see if I actually wrote it right. No, and I'm with you on that as well. I always use the analogy of Charlie from Flowers from Algernon after he got his big smart brain medication and how it slowly, went into that cognitive decline down the line. And again, we've talked about that with a couple different movies that have come out. The worst one, the most disturbing one, is Lawnmower Man. But there was the
I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, I know that was. Don't watch number 2, folks. If you have not seen Lawnmower Man, it is worth watching. Don't watch number 2.
I introduced my kids to Idiocracy.
Oh my goodness!
Like 2 weeks ago, because we use there's a lot of like things we say. It's like one of those pop culture references.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, now you understand why we say that. Now you understand why we say that. So so that's it doesn't hold up great because it's hokey, and it was always hokey. But man, are we living in Idiocracy right now?
The funny thing is they didn't think Crocs were going to last. That's why they chose Crocs, because they hadn't really taken over the market.
Okay, next biohack I see is increasing energy and vitality.
Absolutely. And they've got a list of things that are going to help with that. Obviously, diet and exercise. but sleep patterns are a big part of this, because most people don't consider how much better life is when you get, I say 6 to 8, but really more like 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. And if you are in pain, obviously, you don't get sleep. It just doesn't happen. I have so many patients that are coming in and they're telling me I barely get, if I get any straight sleep, it's 3 to 4 hours tops. And what you need to do is you need to get, sometimes you have a physical problem that is preventing you from getting a good night's sleep. Yes, people wake up in the middle of the night to go use the restroom, especially as we get older. That's one problem. But the bigger problem is if that's not the main issue, other things are waking you up. You are not getting restorative, recuperative, functional sleep that is keeping you healthy and vital.
Yeah. So, and that's, again, I always bring things back to me, right? There's so many parts.
It's all about you.
I think so. Most things are about me. But so I had, as a child, had chronic insomnia. I would lay next to my sister's bed and poke her and say, Sarah, how do you fall asleep? Sarah, how do you fall asleep? Sarah, because she could fall asleep like that. And so I had that continuing since I was in my early 20s, found upper cervical, got adjusted, and it was not long until I realized I was sleeping. It took me 10, 15 minutes to fall asleep, not 2 hours to fall asleep. And that affects all things.
Yes.
When you sleep well. And if that biohack, if you can biohack your sleep, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
But again, why is chiropractic the ultimate biohack? Because it affects sleep too.
It does.
Most of our patients will say, wow, after I got that adjustment, I had the best night of sleep in my life. And I was like, yeah, that's awesome.
Or it's not uncommon. Like last time I was down and you adjusted me, it's not uncommon that we have people rest for 20, 30 minutes after their adjustment in nice recliners or on a bench, comfortable little bench style bed. And it's not uncommon to have people snoring away
100%
after they get adjusted. Yep. It's just fantastic when it happens too.
Except for the other people in the room with them.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, this is why I tell people, snoring is optional. That might be, a little bit of a warning. So, but again, I've got people, sometimes they complain when I come get them up after 20 minutes, and they're like, Doc, can I stay? I've had some people who I've let rest for about an hour and a half because
if they need it, they need it.
I was able to work it into my schedule that I didn't need that extra resting chair. But no, it's definitely one of the better benefits of chiropractic is you start sleeping better, you have better recovery. All of these these biohacking devices, the Oura Ring, the Apple Watch, the Garmin, that all these things that track sleep oftentimes start showing improvements. And they sort of tell you how hard you can push your day based upon how well you slept. So yeah, it's just great. Anyways, let's go on to reducing stress and anxiety. Oh, how about you sleep better through the night? Like I said, there's a lot of overlap on these.
There is. And again, one of the reasons people don't sleep a lot of times is they are circular thought processes happening because of anxiety and stress. And they just keep thinking, oh, I've got this. Oh, I've got that. One of my hacks is I keep a pad of paper next to my bed. And if something comes to my mind, which it often does, I write it down and then I let that one go because I know I can pick that up in the morning. So that's something you guys can use. Anxiety too is, again, bringing it back to me. I had panic attacks before chiropractic care. I do not have panic attacks anymore.
Well, that's always good. That's, and for a lot of people, we've talked about the mood bone, the C3 being involved.
We talked about that this week. Yep.
So certainly C3 can influence your diaphragm's function and things like that. But the atlas and the vagus nerve have a very intimate connection there. And because of that intimate connection, vagus controls your breathing and your heart rate. And if your heart rate is way high, you cannot control your breath. In fact, one of the common things to help reduce stress and anxiety is meditation and deep breathing, which all tie into that autonomic function, and one of the autonomic markers that they're using now to measure how well you're that is balanced, is something called HRV, or heart rate variability. It's not a heart thing. It's not a heart rate thing. It's a variability that is controlled by the nervous system. And the more variability you have, the better off you are. So again, you start talking to the biohackers, everyone's got some sort of HRV metric that they're looking at. And again, deep sleep, meditation, deep breathing, all help you with that marker.
Yeah. And when people are stuck in that fight or flight, or that sympathetic dominant, and chiropractic, what I tell patients, bringing it back to simplicity, is when we're out of balance and our parasympathetic and sympathetics are not balancing like they should balance each other. Chiropractic adjustment helps that balance. And I see it in patients and almost immediately. Sometimes I have this one new patient who is very stressed out and anxious. And after her adjustments, she's able to breathe better and talk clearer, because her anxiety levels they're not perfect yet, but they go down.
Yeah.
I'm excited to meet her again in a month when she's been under care longer. But but that anxiety is real, and it's horrendous. When you have that anxiety or constant fear struggle happening in your brain, and there's no reason for it. Like, if you're getting chased by a bear, you're supposed to have anxiety. It's supposed to make your heart rate speed up so you can run or fight, because you would fight, right?
I would
You'd
fight
the bear. I know you would.
No,
I'd let you fight, and I would run.
Yeah, someone's gonna. Well, this is what happens in the world. Someone's got to protect people.
Yeah, so I will accept you as the champion and fight the
Yes.
bear for us. But when you constantly feel like you're being chased by a bear, that is not a way to live. That is a way to have your heart feel like it's going to beat out of your chest and not be able to sleep at night, all that stuff. So again, chiropractic being the ultimate biohack, absolutely, we see it daily, that anxiety and stress. We can't get rid of stress. We can't make that go away, but we can help your body handle stress better with the chiropractic adjustment.
And again, getting to the the bear is chasing you in the woods, that is the ultimate sympathetic dominance type situation. And what we understand about our lifestyles in modern Western society is we are living in a sympathetic dominant state, and we never have the ability to properly relax into that parasympathetic state, which is the rest, digest, and heal. And again, we have two states in our body. We have healing, growing, and adapting, which is that parasympathetic state, and we have breaking down and dying, which is the sympathetic state.
And we need the sympathetic state.
We do.
For survival.
For survival, it wakes us up. It's actually what makes our workouts beneficial for building muscle, because we're breaking down and dying in that shortened period to make us stronger afterwards. This is why when you really start looking at the research talking about long workouts, you're losing your benefit after about 35-40 minute tops, maybe an hour for some people, but 30 minutes, that's all you need to really stress the body, and then say, all right, and I can walk away and I won't be completely wiped out. If you've ever done a workout that took you an hour and then you couldn't move for a day, you overdid it. So it's the same. It is the same concept going on.
Well, let's skip down to optimizing physical performance, and then we'll come back to the next one.
All right. Yeah, because we're sort of in that as well, aren't we?
Yep.
Yeah. So let's do that one next.
So strength training, cardio, flexibility, we all put that into optimizing physical performance. And when people biohack, like hiring a personal trainer, awesome. But even what can make your personal training more effective, what can make kettlebell swings more effective, is having your body in balance.
Yes.
And if it's not in balance, you can hurt yourself, and you will not get an effective workout because you're not utilizing your muscles in a balanced way.
Right.
So there's bringing back to chiropractic. Everything comes back to chiropractic.
Do you have what's the website that we show to patients? Why can't I think of it?
Oh, My Misalignment.
Yes. Do you have that? Can you pull that on up? Because I think that full body picture is going to be a good picture to examine. Let me get you, because that's going to be the one we want to take a look at. So this is really that imbalance that we start to see, because the body wants, when the atlas goes out of place, the brain has to keep the head level. because our eyes and everything else, our eyes and our ears are responding to the horizon and to gravity because of how things are pulling. But if our head and that atlas is shifted out of place, we can bang on the lower back here all day long for that low back pain that you have. But until, and oftentimes those are really hot low back, we go to the top and we adjust the atlas and everything balances out. Show how it balances out. And then everything just starts, to come back to where it's supposed to be. But if it's in that out of balance state, you've got some muscles that are going to be more tight and contracted on one side. And I see this regularly. I would love to see this taken studied a little bit more with gym goers, how well their bench press is staying balanced in alignment versus out of alignment. Because I started watching people in the gym, this is before COVID, and I noticed how off balance the bar was. Always something that I felt with my CDO brain, the bar should be balanced because I want to get both sides of the muscles to hypertrophy ideally and strengthen together. But all too often people are out of balance, and now you can't figure out why one side is growing bigger and the other side is taking its time. Yeah, will it ever be perfect? No, but it'll be better. And again, you won't injure yourself
as easily. No,
as
not
easily.
at all.
Yeah, as easily.
You can still injure yourself.
Oh yeah,
but just not as easily.
I've done it. Generally I was out of adjustment too. But any case, that's how that works. So, but anyways, folks, how do we get you functioning better is get everything balanced. And after my first chiropractic adjustment, I think I took about 3 months to get good at Kung Fu again. So it took a little bit of time.
Yeah. And I actually warn my golfers.
Yes.
Because that's such a precise thing that they do. Yeah. If you're a really good golfer, your swing you got it lined in. You got it perfect for you. But now you're having back pain or now you're having a problem. You need chiropractic care. It can sometimes change your golf swing. And in the long run, it will change it for the better. But for the short term, you can have some bad games.
Yeah. You need to learn how to practice and how you're going to hit the ball. And this goes for any sport. When you're in alignment versus out of alignment. In fact, a lot of people who are athletic, they start to notice when they are out of adjustment faster than anybody else would because they are highly tuned to their body already. I think I saw Dr. Shiloh the other day. I did see Dr. Shiloh the other day, and I think she was saying, she's like, yeah, it's not right today. She knows because she's very athletic. She's very in tune with her body. And she just knew it was off.
Yeah. And we have patients like that. I've got one who is so in tune with her body, she can actually tell me which bones are out of place. And she's usually right.
Yep. Well, some people can finally, are that sensitive. Everyone, no. In fact, most of us, myself included,
I'm not good at telling you which side or what bone. Sometimes I can tell something's not right, but I can't tell you exactly what's wrong.
Right. Exactly.
That's why I trust my doctors.
Exactly. And this is why when Dr. Shiloh checked me the other day, we joked about it because that's the C4. My C4 was out, and that's the one that she adjusted when I told her the listing that I wanted adjusted at, which was, I told her the wrong listing, and that's on me. But she adjusted it perfectly right. Just screwed me up for about a month. So yes, this is why it's important to have the right listing. This is why it's important that we take new pictures periodically. Absolutely. Just to make sure something hasn't changed.
You're not wrong. Okay, the next one that we have.
Let's do extending lifespan.
Extending lifespan.
So this one's really interesting. They believe that certain techniques and methods can help extend their lifespan by optimizing their health, reducing oxidative stress, and promoting cellular regeneration. And I want to talk about this interesting concept of telomeres. So in our DNA, we have these strands of what are they called? Dinucleic acids is what they are.
I mean, it's the end of the DNA.
Yeah, but the telomere is the end of the DNA, which is an odd little repeating string at the end. And back in 1953, Leonard Hayflick, I think we talked about him last time, PhD anatomy professor at the University of California in San Francisco, discovered that human cells divided about 50 times then die. And this is what he called the Hayflick limit. And he continued to into research, and about 30 years ago, scientists discovered the reason for the Hayflick limit was something called a telomere. And these are short caps of DNA at the end of chromosomes. Each time the cell divides, the telomere shortens a little bit. So that what that does is that actually allows the way the cell division happens, something has to give, and they do it at the end of the chain, but you have all these telomeres, which are just the same thing over and over and over again, and the telomeres shorten over time, and then they become potentially these senescent cells that are all the rage in, this is why people talk about fasting and things like that, to sort of have the body gobble up senescent cells that they're not healing, they're not growing, they're not contributing, and they just, ideally they could be cleaned out. So they've since, they basically said that telomere length has been proposed as a marker of biological aging. Let's see, there was a couple other things I was looking at here. Physiological or psychological stress could affect cell aging through at least three non-mutually exclusive pathways: immune cell function or distribution, oxidative stress, and telomere activity.
I want to just point out, if you guys ever look up a president on his first day in office and his president on his last day of office, yes, there's been 4 or 8 years in between, but that person has aged so much.
You see a lot of gray hair in those individuals,
so
as long as they don't color it. Hey, here's the funny thing, though. I realized that my siblings aren't living their best life by being fully under chiropractic care, because I'm the oldest of them, and I don't have a gray hair on my body.
Not one.
Any case, so getting back to telomeres and all the fun stuff there was an interesting study that was done by, where is it? Here it is. Well, there it was. Okay, there it is. It's bouncing around on me. I believe it's Christopher Fedorchik, who is part of the chiropractic biophysics group. With Matt McCoy was on this paper as well. But what they did is they looked at a telomere sequence of DNA nucleotides. Again, it's TTAGGGG. That's sort of the repeating sequence at the end. What they did is they had a young lady, so they did a blood test, and you can get these telomere tests to see what your biological age is, because yes, you can do some of these biohacking things to make your telomere length extend longer. And they did one of the tests for this, I believe it was a young lady. She had 5 months of care, different chiropractic technique than what we practice, but it's similar. 5 months of care encompassing 36 visits. The patient reported to be virtually pain-free and had been able to sleep through the night without having to go to the bathroom to urinate. This report documents the successful outcome in a 35-year-old with neck and mid-back pain and nocturnal polyuria, as well as unhealthy spinal alignment and posture and autonomic dysfunction. So she came in, what else did she come in with? So basically she's getting up, she's not sleeping through the night very well. She has to go to the bathroom multiple times through the night. Let's see if there's anything else they talked about here. No, those were the big ones. What they found, they measured pre and post telomere length. And what they found at the end is they had an 8.23% increase in telomere length over a 5-month period under chiropractic care.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now, this is one case, so this is not definitive, but this is pretty big stuff. The case suggests for the first time that cervical spinal alignment and posture may be directly related to telomere length, which is health longevity, and that correction thereof may have a directly related effect on health longevity as represented by telomere length. So it's pretty cool. There's no control group. There's no long-term follow-up. There's problems with this, but this was a very interesting study that really got to the meat and potatoes. Can chiropractic adjustments and care benefit a cellular marker that has not been studied and has not been compared to chiropractic? And the short answer is yes, which is very exciting.
That's cool. I would love for our profession to do a large study on that.
I would just love to see even a small study with case series, or just do 50 patients just to see what that sort of looks like under upper cervical care, because we've got the secretory IGA study. We need something similar to look at in that vein.
Yeah, that's really neat.
So the next one is improving mental clarity and focus.
I feel like we've already gone over that one.
Right, because that one, honestly, this is why I look at that one. And
one thing we haven't talked about is the nootropics, the
Yeah.
The brain enhancement
yeah,
supplement.
yeah.
Like some people take mushrooms and stuff like that.
There's chaga, there's lion's mane. There are all sorts of different things that are out there that we could argue we forgot about for the past 100 years since the inception of modern medicine came along. In fact, because of the inception of modern medicine, a lot of things that were herbal, homeopathic, not saying that I thought I saw something on homeopathic recently that basically said there is a validation for them reducing to what apparently looks just like water of a toxic substance. So there's something to that. They just, I can't. Some days research is like that. You find something it's interesting, and it's like, oh, I got to go get back to that, and life gets busy. But nootropics is really an interesting word that might just simply mean magnesium,
right?
It's a mineral that should be in our soil that we should be getting from our food, but yet because of things like glyphosate that bind magnesium really well in the soil, then that we don't actually get the amount of magnesium we should be having.
That is all over the radio here in Missouri.
Really?
There's some sort of something that's going through our state to ban glyphosate,
which is really funny
because it started here.
Yeah.
And it's
and like Monsanto or Bayer Monsanto is still, majorly headquartered there, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I don't know if it's called headquarters anymore, but there's definitely a lot. And again, not saying anything bad to my patients that work for them. I used to work for them back in the day. And I can't believe that that's being, I hope it does get passed. I don't think that chemical should be sprayed anywhere near anything that we eat or drink.
What was the one about atrazine that I came across recently?
Is that gay frogs?
That's the one. That is the one that turns frogs hermaphroditic. Folks, if you have an Alex Jones was right jar,
that's another one.
You might have a lot of money in that jar. Yeah. But to the point, atrazine is owned by a company whose parent company apparently is Chinese. Anyways, I'm just going to leave that there. But no, all this brain training, this meditation, this nootropics for clarity and focus. I think the world of meditation. I need to do it more. I'm not. I've been out of practice, and when I do it, everything gets better. And nootropics, it might be just as simple as something like magnesium that I've got sitting right behind me here that I take every night to get better sleep. Again, I'm tracking that heart rate variability, that autonomic function based off of what the Oura Ring tells me. And when I miss my magnesium at dinner, it's at least 2 or 3 points lower than it could be or should be. So
what time, if you're going to bed at, I don't know, 10 or 11 o'clock, whatever, what you just take it with your dinner?
I just take it with dinner. Usually I'll finish dinner. There's sort of a wind down with the dogs, getting them fed and getting them their treat. And oftentimes when I get up to get them their treat, because they'll go outside after I feed them, I'll get up, fill up my water glass, and grab, I've got it sitting next to the water to take it. So that's
I tend to take it about half an hour before I go to bed.
Yeah. I've taken it right before bed. I think I would take it again with dinner or right thereabouts because I have found I will get to bed easier and faster. I won't
I can see that.
I won't pull the temper tantrum.
Yeah, where you're like, I'm not tired. I can read for a little bit.
Exactly.
I got some research to do. You're just like, no, I'm going to bed.
Right. No, and it's nice because especially the neuromag that I take, that tends to be what's the word I'm looking for? It sort of helps you say, and I'm done, go to bed, opposed to I'm just gonna lay back here. I'm gonna close my eyes and
I'm gonna give Netflix. Jason this. I don't know if he's been taking it because he is terrible about that. Jason is my husband, for those listening who don't know. He absolutely is that person. He will read and he's fine, and then he'll halfway fall asleep. And I'm like, just go to bed.
Oh no, it's horrible. My dad's the same way. We'll go visit with him, and he'll have Dr. Pol. I think that's the one he likes, the Nat Geo stuff. Dr. Pol, the what is it called? He's a vet up in Michigan. Guy's wild. He's fantastic. But Dad'll just fall asleep watching, and he's watched all the episodes. He's just watching them again for background noise. But he'll be working on a Sudoku puzzle, and the next thing you know, his head's sort of falling forward. I'm like,
which is terrible for your neck, people. It's
which
terrible.
Is terrible, and I probably had adjusted him that day. He's usually a little bit better afterwards. We wonder why he's out of adjustment. But any case, but yeah, no, it's beneficial. Does magnesium glycinate work just as well? Probably. There's some back and forth in the research.
That's what I use.
Yeah, there's some back and forth in the research. I double up because, quite honestly, I find the benefit of both that is there, and maybe one is quick across the blood-brain barrier, the neuromag, whereas the glycinate might be a slower crossing. In fact, us joking about 300 grams of protein yesterday, the one guy that I was watching that sort of prompted me to say, yeah, sure, let's try it, is Thomas DeLauer, who's a great biohacker. I mean, he's got fantastic information on YouTube, but he was pointing out this, and he was pointing out an interesting idea that maybe mixing 300 grams of all whey protein is probably a bad idea, but whey protein right after your workout, to get that quick uptake of protein might be a good idea, and then back it with some sort of meat protein later on so that you have that slower burn down the way. Same thing with the magnesium. I'm going to guess when they start figuring out how that's working, they'll say the mag-team crosses fast and the glycinate crosses just a little bit slower. So again, a slow burn so that you get better sleep throughout the night.
The last one, I think we'll probably skip it because it's enhancing creativity and innovation. I think that has to do with all of the mental clarity and focus stuff. But
and one of the things
meditation, all that. Go ahead.
And this gets back to, I put a note down here, heart rate variability again. Let me see, where was here it is. It was talking about heart rate variability and using vagal nerve or auricular vagal nerve stimulation. Where was it? Let me scroll down here to see this list of things that I saw here. One of them was talking about creative ideas and, improving creativity through the use of, that's what it was, cerebral blood flow. There's six,
that makes sense.
There's three different things going on here. So one of the things that is happening is as you improve your vagal tone, your cerebral blood flow improves. Also, as you improve your cervical curve and have your head better over your shoulders, you increase that cerebral blood flow as well, coming up through the carotids. As you start moving forward, now the jugulars are having a harder time draining the blood flow out of the brain, so getting rid of all the waste, as well as now I would suspect there is a limit of how well, and I'm turning for those who are just listening, how well, between having your head over your shoulders and then stretching forward, that even though it won't collapse the carotids, it will start to cause them to be stretched and them to be elongated across the horizon across the artery, so that you don't get a normal flow of blood going to the brain. So it's just, those are just a couple things that stand out as I think about this.
Back chiropractic, again, obviously our head position, but if you're in fight or flight, there's no chance you can be creative.
Right.
Like if you're being chased by a bear, it is not a good time to write a song about love. I mean, it's just, it doesn't happen. So helping people, again, balance their nervous system will increase the person's ability to be creative. And we see that in our office where someone who's an artist gets depressed because they're no longer creating art. They start getting adjusted. They can start creating again.
Yes.
And depression kind of goes away, which is amazing. I mean, it makes my chiropractor heart happy.
Well, and this reminds me of a story that I was sharing with another patient when I was out in Dr. Hall's office out in Los Angeles. He had a young lady as a patient. Just this person, you could tell she was, a good-souled person, just happy when she was in alignment. But she had gone out to California to find her dream of music and songwriting and all of that stuff. And unfortunately, that oftentimes the community that she would have gone into, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I mean, she got caught up in that, and she was, a little depressive. That ended up pushing her down into a dark place. He took her on as a patient. I want to say within about 3 years, of me leaving that office. She was recording. Her music career was doing something more than certainly where she had been. I think she was married, and she had a young child at that point in time as well. So, just by doing that much, she was able to turn her life around so that she could, properly say, oh, I don't need the drugs. I don't need the alcohol. I can do this without this crutch, and like you said, a lot of people are depressed.
Yep. So, well, on that note, I think the ultimate biohack is chiropractic. So where can they find you, Dr. Schurger?
I'm in Springfield, Illinois, KeystoneChiroSPI.com, Keystone Chiro, and like a lot of the socials. So come find us.
And I am in the west part of St. Louis. We're at Precision Chiropractic STL.com. You can find me on TikTok now. And one of my videos, I kind of went viral. I got 19,000 views.
Sweet.
That's the most I've ever had. So y'all find me on TikTok and at Dr. Beth Bagley. And find us on all the socials, like, subscribe. We will see you next time.
Bye, folks. Have a good one.
That's all for today's episode of The Blonde and the Bald. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoyed today's show with Drs. Bagley and Schurger, remember, don't give up and just live with the pain. Come back next week and get more answers and solutions. Visit our websites at KeystoneChiroSPI.com and PrecisionChiropracticSTL.com for more info, and catch all the episodes of The Blonde and the Bald.